Live from the Business RadioX studio inside Renaissance Bank, the bank that specializes in understanding you. It's time for North Fulton Business Radio.
And hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of North Fulton Business Radio. I'm John Ray, and folks, we are broadcasting from inside Renaissance Bank in beautiful Alpharetta. And it just so happens that we happen to be in the bank that's voted best bank in Georgia and in the United States. And that's been released here recently, surveys by Forbes magazine. And if you'd like to know why Renaissance Bank is getting awards like this, then go check them out. If you are with a bank that's really not fulfilling your business needs, then go to renaissancebank.com and find one of their local offices. They've got some 200 across the South ready to serve you, and give them a call. I think you'll be glad you did. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, member the FDIC. And now I want to welcome Erick Olson. Erick is with Olson Associates. Erick, welcome.
Hi. Good afternoon, John.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Same to you.
Thank you. Let's talk about you and Olson Associates. How are you serving folks out there?
Well, we are in our 42nd year of business. My father started our company in 1980.
Just a little new startup, huh?
Right. My goodness, that was even after he spent 22 years at Sears Roebuck. So
wow.
If you own a Kenmore washer, he had a lot to do with that. But this is now my 22nd year in business.
Awesome.
And we've been right here, right behind North Fulton Charities off of Elkins Road and Highway 9 here. So
that's awesome.
But second generation CFP, father of two little ones, 10 and about to be 8. And my future CFPs.
I got you.
So, serving people through a comprehensive wealth management, financial planning process.
And for those that don't know CFP, that's Certified Financial Planner. That's a pretty extensive and hard designation to achieve, right?
Very much so, from the education standpoint and from the experience standpoint too. Having a minimum competency and integrity. And all that good stuff, yeah.
You're a family firm. Talk a little bit about, as the son of the founder, I mean, a lot of things you could have done, but why did you continue on in the family business? Oh,
goodness. It was at an early age. What does Dad do for a living? I'm seeing that with my kids today. What does Dad do for a living? And would follow him to a lot of the meetings and just immersed in and fell in love with it, with serving people, a community of people that have been clients for, some of them 35 plus years. And having had them retired for a lot of those years. So, just fell in love with it and felt like it was working in my own unique ability.
That's terrific. So let's talk about your process and maybe how you look at the world in terms of working with clients and their needs.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's what we call the financial Maxi-Miser Process. So we want to be maximizing net worth accumulation. We also want to be miserly on things like taxes, the insurance premiums, all of those things that come into play. But we have a processed way of approaching our work that we do call the financial Maxi-Miser. The first step in that process is we never have an appointment. We always have a session or a meeting. And the idea is particularly in the first meeting, we call it our insight session. So I want to gain an insight into who the client is, prospective client, and they need to gain a perspective or an insight into who I am and see that we have a natural fit. Out of that comes the identifying where are the dangers in one's financial life, where are the opportunities that they don't know about. Most people see things A and B. We see our job as C, D, and E, showing them those options, being of value, and giving advice. So covering up the dangers, looking for the opportunities, and what are the strengths that they have. We've worked with a lot of good couples, and just the strength of that bond, that family, if you will, that we're working to help. That comes into play often, and this binding, if you will. Then we get to work what we call our strategic game plan. So showing clients what they can afford to get away with. And that's through the use of spreadsheeting. And we have a particular spreadsheet we call the Wealth Management Notebook, where we hold everything, their balances, an accounting of their net worth, along with spreadsheeting out the what ifs. For years, people have had a lot of poofy clouds of what retirement might look like. And that's one of the questions in our process of how do you envision your retirement? And let's work the math backwards into our spreadsheet.
Right.
And the timing of Social Security, the timing of pensions, all of those things, that if pensions are even available to those people that have worked so many years with particularly one company.
Sure.
So getting to work on the strategic game plan, and we do that collaboratively, John. We want to sit with clients and do that work together. It's not done in the back room. I want that done real time, and we don't touch that spreadsheet until the clients are back to work on it again. We don't alter any data in that sheet. It's a lot of fun, and spending time with people and meeting them at their level, wherever they are, and showing them the unique possibilities, and showing them what they can get away with.
Yeah. Well, let's zip up to the top of that list for a second. You talked about making sure there's a good fit. Give advice to folks out there about how they look at a financial planner, a financial advisor, and decide whether it's a good fit for them.
That's a very good question. A good fit of just building good rapport. We have a processed way of approaching our work, and people coming into our living room like we're at home. We feel our office is an extension of home, and meeting people where they are, making decisions on best how they see things. In order for us to determine the ways in which our services will be of value, we need to spend time to see how they think and how they feel. So and matching that pace and emotion, if you will.
Yeah. And I'm curious about the, I guess the process itself. I mean, you talked about the planning. You say it's fun. A lot of people would say that's not fun.
It's pulling teeth for some people.
Right.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And so how do you work with those folks that just really don't want to confront the necessity of having to do what you really have to do for you to do a good job?
Yeah, walking people through. I have a particular client I'm thinking of right now, and bless her heart, she is very, very skittish about everything. And best thing I can do is give her a hug, and it's going to be all right. Here are the numbers. Here are the facts. Here's what we're going to walk through. Here's what I can prove to you here, and have a little faith. And everyone that has been skittish and scared and fearful about the future, that's just a human nature thing. Just showing them through the process, and at the end of the day, giving them a hug in the way of everything's going to be all right. Here's how things will play out. And at the end of the day, they're very thankful for having spent the time visiting with us. We're always looking to, and my logo, when they come in, we're looking to just simply reshift, not totally shift their thinking, but shift their hope and faith and confidence, and build on their confidence level, wherever that is.
Folks, we're here chatting with Erick Olson. Erick is a certified financial planner, CFP, at Olson Associates. You talked about your process, and what's interesting about what you had to say, I think, is that it goes beyond just investments. And I think a lot of people think when they hear financial planning, they think investments, and that's part of it, but not all of it. Say more on that.
A question in my process is, what's important about money to you, and finding people's true core values. That usually is family, their faith. It does go beyond retirement. It goes beyond the, syncing up income and into a checkbook. I call it mailbox money, if you will, these days. And But yeah, matching emotion, matching pace,
right,
and finding people's true core value. What's important about money to you, and spending that is a step in our system.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Let's talk a little bit about, I guess, the different retirement strategies that you talk in retirement vehicles, because like you say, some folks have pensions, a lot don't. A lot have money they've accumulated in a 401k or a Roth or IRA or what have you. How do you work through all that?
Very good question. We have what we call our pre-retirement strategies. So the collaborative spreadsheeting through our strategic game plan, we're going to dial up retirement income. I had a couple recently here this week. It was, lack of a better term, poofy clouds. This income stream, this 401k, this Roth, all of these items on the table. We're going to bring all that together and look at the macro and bring it to a micro level. So the organization that's needed. But some of the pre-retirement strategies we're looking at through the spreadsheeting are making pension decisions, spreadsheeting those, whether client decides to take a single life payout, joint and survivor, or even certain strategies called life with period certain. So if there's children involved and no spouse involved, then we look to develop the pension that's best for how they should, best for how they want to and what would be the best financially.
Gotcha.
Looking at Roth IRA options, Roth and inherited IRA options. So looking at beneficiary designations, making sure those are all in place, getting organized there, along with our self-employed people that have the opportunity for SEP IRAs, individual 401ks and the like, when they're solo practitioner, if you will. So those are some of the things we look at through the game plan and helping implement it.
You really put your finger on the reason for a holistic approach, because some folks are eligible for some of these plans, some aren't.
Yes.
And that's very unique to your circumstances. If you own a business or you don't, or you're already covered by a certain plan or you're not. That's why it's really important to, I guess, fess up, if you will, and really get into the details of what your total situation is with you.
Right. And particularly often, just to embellish on that, looking at the pools of money that are available to you in a 401k. Most everyone knows about the pre-tax option, looking at the after-tax option, the match that's involved, getting the match correct, and documenting that match, even making the call to the provider to make sure that we've got the match in. And a lot of people have opportunity putting into Roth in those 401k plans. And given where we are with tax rates and where tax rates may go and things, there's flexibility you want to build into your plan. That's another key component.
I know we've got to say that everyone's needs are different, and so you need to talk to a certified financial planner like Erick to help you with your particular needs. Having said that, you mentioned pre-tax and after-tax contributions to retirement plans, and I think people are like you said, they're real focused on the match and taking advantage of the match. Do you recommend that people look at contributing more than the match?
Absolutely, yes. It depends on what they need to be putting away. Like I said, we're going to look at working the math backwards. Here's the goal of retiring at full retirement age. And for us born after 1960, we have to wait to 67 to get our full Social Security. Those born before 1960 have some a level, 66 and 4 months or something like that on their statement. But we'll work the math backwards, John. We'll look at the goal, and then what do we need to be doing leading up to that goal? So what's the monthly contributions, even down to the weekly contributions from paychecks going into their plan, and showing growth rates on that, showing what it will look like. It's amazing to go back 25 years. Clients will bring in their binders from 25 years ago.
Wow.
And they're so pleased that, wow, you and your dad figured this out 25 years ago with us, and now here we are.
Wow.
So that's
awesome.
Yeah, the same Braves notebook. I can think of one client. Yes, and his son wants to have that notebook. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You read a lot about folks who are, I guess, underfunded, not really ready for retirement. That the boomer generation is really not ready for retirement. What's your perspective on that?
Very good question. It's, for a lot of boomers that I've helped retire, it's very relative. A lot of good savers. Yes, there may be a little bit of hard work to do in the next, jokingly, once the kids are off the payroll, and making it doesn't look so bad when you can, yes, there may be some red numbers, but we'll find a way to work through the red numbers, if you will.
Right.
And we may ask you to work another couple of years, and not relying on investment performance to help us get there. That's a dangerous slope. So putting the contributions that need to go in to help you get retired at a certain level. I've dealt with a couple of cases here recently where, yes, if you could work a couple more years, let's get you a little further down the line, not 62, but let's get you to closer to 65 maybe, and show you the what if. Here's how it looks at 62. It's red. We can get you out at 64. How about that? Again, C, D, and E. What are the C, D, and E options when most people only look at A and B?
Right. Right. And this is where planning is particularly important, right? Because I think people realize that once you retire, the things have changed. The dynamic has changed. And we read a lot about folks coming back out of retirement, particularly with the shrinking workforce, what have you. But still, if you're going to retire, you better be ready for it.
Correct. Yes. We typically meet with clients a lot more often in the 18 months looking to land the plane into, okay, Eric, I'm going to retire June 30. I have one retiring today.
Wow.
As a matter of fact.
Okay.
So we've been meeting with them a lot in the last 18 months to help target everything in. And for me, a lot of fun. Yes, a little stressful for clients, but again, the hug comes into play and dialing everything in as specific to their situation.
That's great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about estate planning, Eric, if we can. Talk about the work you do there.
Okay. One of the tools that we're using, one that is not often seen, is the idea of, when you're building up large 401k balances and you're building up 401k, IRA, SEP IRA balances, using a Roth as a legacy tool and the after-tax nature of that tool. And depending on retirement income and the like, and family situation, if you will, or what have you, leaving that Roth as a legacy and having it tax-free to future generation. That's one tool. One of the things that we promise to clients is to help them get organized. And in my fact finder, I ask the question, have you done your wills? Have you done your powers of attorney for financial and the living will? And of course, we have good attorneys that we work with to make sure that that's shored up. But looking at the other options, the C, D, and E, if you will, the charitable giving that one can do, clients that are now retired with tax law changes, an option today is what's called a qualified charitable distribution. So they can take some part of their required minimum distribution for people now 72 and older, as the law states today, the IRS rule. One can donate a portion of their RMD balance to charities. That's a lot of fun to fill those plans out with people.
Yeah. And
this charity is going to benefit. Their church is going to benefit. It's just really fun to do that through the year. And with tax law changes, keeping up with it, and keeping client, hey, here's something we're going to do different. And for most people, I find most clients that we're working with it, they're taking the standard deduction. And I won't get too far into the weeds on tax planning here with you guys today, but
right.
But at the end of the day, hey, the tax law has changed. Here's something that you could do today, and the tithing that they're already going to do, and get credit for that tithing, and not have to wait to do the itemized Schedule A, if you will. But talking about the charitable planning that we've done over the years with clients, a particular family, a particular lady that we helped. Oh, this is now 15 years ago, John, but inherited large sum of individual stocks from family. Mm-hmm. And she had a very charitable heart. So one of the things that we did with that stock had very little cost basis in it coming out of a particular type of trust. But at the end of the day, we took a low cost basis stock and ended up doing a charitable trust. And that charitable trust will eventually endow several other charities near and dear to her heart. So that's a lot of fun to help with the tax planning along with the charitable planning she wanted to get done. Mm-hmm. And then the estate planning with the taxes and the like. So, and that money has more than doubled in 15 years. Yeah. Even taking an income from it over in the last 15 years. Oh, wow. We started that in 2008, John.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So that's fantastic. Folks, we're here chatting with Erick Olson. Erick is a certified financial planner at Olson Associates. Erick, let's talk about the clients that are best fits for you.
Best fits. An ideal client, affectionately, we refer to them as 7 Sixers. Okay. So 7-figure net worth, potential 6-figure retirement income. Typically, it's that right around 58-year-old couple that's got the kids off the payroll. Mm-hmm. And, honey, we've got about 3 to 5 years to really dial it in and get retired. Mm. And what are the things that we can harness today to do that? And it's just a lot of fun to help people, fly the plane, if you will, and get this thing landed in that 3 to 5 year target.
That's terrific. Mm-hmm. I would love it if you would maybe share a success story. You're obviously in the confidentiality business. You can't talk about names, but if you could talk about, a situation that where you worked with a client and you feel like it's a particularly, something you're proud of and illustrative of the great work you do.
Yeah. Thank you, John. I'm thinking of one fellow professional. This is back, this goes back many years ago, but very successful in his business, had a wonderful team and the like, went through some family issues here some years ago, at least 20 years before retirement, mm-hmm. and went from riches to rags, and did everything he had to do in his personal life to fix things. And we hooked up with him, began working with this particular client and family, about 20 years to retirement, about 18 years technically. And he was steadfast. He was loyal. He was following the plan to a T, the professional that he is. And we retired him in 2007, mm-hmm. at the height of before 2008 and the financial crisis. Right. And took him from rags now to riches, and has all the income that he needs. Loves to spend a month in the Highlands, if you will, and he'll come through with his lovely bride, his wife, and they'll ride up to the Highlands to spend a month in July. They're headed there this 4th of July. So, awesome. But I think of that as a real bang up success story, and we're all crying at the table. Mm. My father and I, when Dad was working with us, and the clients, and that was a very emotional thing. Those 18 hard years that he did what he needed to do, and sure enough, he met the goal. And in fact, exceeded the goal, and now he's able to do what he wants to do. He still works in his profession a couple of days a week, just volunteering, and it's a lot of fun to the wonderful professional that he is, and just lovely relationship.
Oh, wow. That's great. What a great story. I can see that's such a great illustration of what you were talking about at the top of the show. Just, being able to, savor the success of your clients and the development that they have over their lives. That's terrific work. Wow. Well, Erick, this has been awesome, and I can't imagine that there aren't some folks that wouldn't want to be in touch and learn more about the great work you do. So let's give them directions on how they can do that.
Oh, wonderful. The main office line, 770-740-8744. And our website is Olson, O-L-S-O-N, retirement.com. And Olson is O-N, the only way.
I love it.
For us Ians out there, I'm in trouble. But
I identify that with that because there's 18 different ways to spell Ray, and I've got the one correct one.
We're in the same boat.
You got it, pal. Erick Olson, O-N, with Olson Associates. Erick, this has been fun and informative. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. Hey, folks, just a quick thought for you. If you're looking for a unique team building experience, one that does not involve swinging from a rope and potentially breaking your ankle, here's an idea. A&S Culinary Concepts. They're an award-winning culinary studio in Johns Creek. And yes, they do corporate catering, and they've got Big Green Egg boot camps, which are fabulous, by the way. They do private group events. But they also do corporate team building. So imagine your team standing around a table, laughing, having a good time, and seasoning meat and cutting up vegetables, cooking, learning a new dish or two, and then eating the result together. It's a lot of fun. If you'd like to know more, call Executive Chef Andrew Traub, 678-336-9196, or go to asculinaryconcepts.com and let him know we sent you. And folks, just a quick thought as we close the show. North Fulton Business Radio is available on all the major podcast apps. I think this is show number 467 or something like that. We're all about celebrating the great work that business leaders like Erick do, but we need your help. And what I would ask is to subscribe to the show if you're not already subscribed. But also, we'd love it if you would share the show with folks that you think might be interested in the great work that our business leaders like Erick and others that we've had on this show over the years have done. So if you could help us get the word out on these great business leaders, we would appreciate it. So for my guest, Erick Olson, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on North Fulton Business Radio.